Hello everybody, oh sorry about that. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today, for the basics, we are going to be taking a look at our little guy. And we're going to be taking a look at, basically all these different little commands and stuff. So let's go ahead and look at the triggers. You got once, always, timer, mouse click, mouse move, keyboard, collision, proximity, and mailbox. So right away, if I go without thinking, I believe that most people will have no idea what once, always, mouse move, and mailbox do. So mailbox receives something from a message, which we'll go over later. It's basically so you can send a command-like thing from one thing over to the other. So like if I wanted to have it to where I give if I have it to where an NPC gives my player something, then I use message and mailbox. Mailbox will be the thing that I put on the player. But yeah, so if it's a little confusing, it'll be in the basics. It'll show up again in the basics. For mouse move, that's if you move your mouse, I believe. I've never really played around with that one. I've played around with the rest, but I haven't played around with mouse move. So we're just gonna go ahead and bring this one on, since I have no idea what it does. Whenever you click onto something, it'll say what's this right here. You can click onto it. It'll bring you to a different window, and you got this. So mouse move triggers when a player moves the mouse pointer. So yeah, I was correct. So let's go back over to the editorial. And yeah, always is basically a repeat. So so it will repeat. It'll repeat every so often. It repeats a signal from something. So we're just gonna do a little example here. So so I go like this, and I put it through like, and I connect it through like that. That basically means that it's gonna continuously send a signal over the random. I already clicked onto it, so we're gonna be moving on over to logic and math. Oh wait, the once is it sends a signal only once. So for logic and math, you got the numbers, which is used in the run and jump. We'll go over that in a little bit. Expression is adding two numbers together, or you can do subtraction, multiplication, and division, I believe. Function, I am still confused as to what that one does. Ease, pretty simple. It eases onto something, I think. Random, it'll pick a random number. It'll basically do like a roll of the dice. That's why it has a little dice symbol right there. And yeah. Filter, you can filter through numbers, like if you want it greater than, less than, a certain number, whatnot. Switch is to switch, basically. Toggle switch is to whenever you have, for example, if you have a player touch an object, the object will have toggle switch. I think it would be the object, and it'll do a different thing. Now we're going to be moving on to components. You got sound, so you can add in any sound to something. Emit is emitting an object. You can put in different force. You can put on how long it lasts. Attacher will attach something to your object, or to the player, or whatever. Motor, that is to move, like a car, basically. Impulse is showing a spring, so I'm guessing it's for like the Y axis. So you'll be able to jump. Point at I've messed around with that one on my Survival Z. If you notice that the boss will actually look at you, it'll sort of spin around looking at you. I use that in rotation, so it'll point. You can have it to where it points at an object. And yeah, Destroyer. It's so whenever something collides with something else, it'll destroy the object if you put that in. Camera. That one will be going over in the basics. Message. It's sort of like the you send a message to the mailbox, like I was talking about earlier. Onto properties. Position. I'm still a little confused with this one. I think it just sets a position for it, like a random position. And yeah, rotation. It'll rotate an object. Alpha is the what's it called? Transparency. So like you can have it to where it fades in, fades out, stuff like that. Size is obviously the size of an object. Enabled, I have no idea. Like I said, we're going to be going over most of these in the basics anyways. Animation, you can actually do an animation. The animation is going to be the last episode of the beginners. For the beginners thing. Velocity is... It basically helps move an object, so you have like a number and it goes into the velocity and you'll be able to move it and stuff. Flip is to like flip an object around, so then if you want something going right and then you want it to go left, it'll flip what it looks like. And yeah. Extractor, once again, have no idea. GUI. Alert, you'll be able to put up an alert. Bar, you'll be able to have a progress. You can put up a progress bar. I like to use the alert as like a text box thing. For I have a thing called the vegetable escape, in which I use the alerts as little text boxes. Label, I have a little bit of an understanding, but it's still just a little bit glitchy. For game flow, you have pause game. These are pretty simple to understand. Pause game, next level, restart game, open URL, and save. I guess the only one that most of you wouldn't get is the open URL. I do believe it opens up like a different thing. For mobile device, I think this is where the mobile or the open URL would come in handy. Shake, if you this is for if you put it on iOS. If you shake your phone, then it will do something. Add, this is what I was talking about for the open URL. It'll do like a pop-up ad of something. I still need to mess around with these three. Leaderboard, I have it'll put up an leaderboard, but I'm still working on that, so that'll be one of the advanced ones. For behavior bundles, they have different ones. Gun is not one of them, okay? Gun is not one of them. I am yet to know how to take that one down. Ship control is for if you're making a ship game. Dangerous is dangerous. But I found out something simpler, so let me just go ahead and show you this. If we open this up, this is all complicated. But yeah, let me just go ahead and delete that. The dangerous one gets a little glitchy sometimes. Run and jump is the one that we have on right now, and the one that we're going to be taking a look at. So this one is actually, I feel, the most complex. This is for side-scroller games, like 2D games, like, you know how there's Terraria and the Super Mario, the Sonic, all that stuff. This is basically what it's like. So you got the left and right to move, left and right. You got flip, velocity, and all that. You got the collision with any. Will switch on and off the impulse, which is to jump. See, you can put it onto the X or the Y for the impulse and velocity. And yeah, that's basically that. And I'm gonna be showing you again this where like we can run and jump and all that. Yeah, it's really cool. And by the end of the beginners one, we will be creating a we're gonna be doing our first level. So this is just sort of the just like beginning-ish like thing. Sorry, I haven't had much water. But yeah, that's gonna be all for today, guys and gals, and I will see you all later. Bye.